Good morning, welcome to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Shyla. I am just gonna unload these groceries and chat with you. Just kidding. So the last while has been pretty tough on me. I just feel like I've had thing after thing after thing kind of come on my plate in the last couple weeks, and more likely than not, I made it more of a thing than it was. But either way, I had a really hard time kind of feeling any, not even motivation, but just like any enthusiasm about anything, because I was just so upset. Last week somewhere, I fell when I was stepping out of the tram, kind of like on my ankle, like I twisted my ankle. I was on the phone with my sister and I just started crying, and then I was like, I gotta go, and I hung up and I just kept crying for like 10 minutes. And then I got in this kind of pattern where the less I do things, the less I want to do things, the harder it is to do things, kind of just, I think spiraling is the right word. And it wasn't even about my ankle anymore, honestly. It just wasn't. It was like, am I gonna do something today or not kind of thing every single day. And at this point, I'm like, okay, what do I do to feel better, to move forward again, to get out of this cycle? Because I notice some part of you deep down doesn't want that. I just kind of want to like acknowledge that struggle, because I feel like it's an internal struggle that we face more often. And it's kind of like, when do you know you're spiraling? When do you know that it's not good for you anymore? When do you know what is good for you? What is good for you? What do you do about it? Like all of that stuff. I just kind of figured we would unpack that today, because it's also a good reminder for me, like especially to have this said out loud so that I can look back on it and be like, what did I do again whenever I didn't want to do anything? Oh yeah, sounds good. Okay, so this is a little bit messy. I think I need to address that our stockings are still up. Christmas stuff is still up. I know. It's pretty much all I have to say. And I can't even promise you that it won't be there in the next video. I just love the Christmas spirit, like the decor and the lights and everything a lot. I like it. I love it a lot. So when I decided I needed to take some rest, it started out as me saying, okay, I'm just gonna lay here on the couch and watch Netflix and just not put any pressure on myself to do anything. And then it turned into me wanting to skip my night routine. And then it turned into me getting more takeout, eating more late night snacks. It turned into me not getting up early to walk with boss, like all these things. And something that I want to like acknowledge so much is that feelings are valid completely. Like, I'm sick, I don't feel well, my ankle needs to rest. All of that can be true, while it also being true that I will not identify with the result of continuing down this path. I think that it's really difficult to say in a moment before you're about to order takeout, like, is this truly a one-time thing? And I think that's the hard part for me. It's not the taking one day of rest. It's not the skipping my nighttime routine once. It's not doing something once. It's once I do it, I can't do it just once. Ooh, and being honest with myself about that is hard, like really hard. Like, you don't even want that to be the truth, because then you don't get to do that thing that you really wanted to do right now in the moment. The first thing that I really just wanted to leave you with, if you're struggling with that, is like, how are you going to be able to check in with yourself, be honest with yourself, kind of ask yourself questions in regards to whatever route you're on, whatever patterns you're seeing, whatever feelings you're constantly feeling. If you're not feeling well, that's one thing. And yes, you can have rest days, and yes, you can do indulgent things, like that's one thing. But can you also identify what things are not actually helpful to you in terms of once you do it, you can't do it just once? And not only stopping there, but actually then starting to ask yourself questions, starting to notice patterns, starting to link things together, maybe even getting as far as saying, oh, when I feel this, I turn to this. And like, I can expect that of myself. And like, what other things could console or comfort me in maybe not the same way, but in another way where I'm still feeling validated and acknowledged, and like I'm comforting myself, but not in a way that's like ultimately not gonna be beneficial to me. So anyways, I really struggle with this myself. That's exactly why I'm making this video. Sometimes I don't feel like I can consolidate the point into one single sentence to like put on the screen, because I just piggyback off of a lot of thoughts that I have going on in my head, and they all kind of intertwine to the point I'm trying to make. But the point I'm trying to make is sometimes our feelings are so big and so loud, and they need attention, and we give it attention in ways that aren't actually going to soothe it. And we don't want to be honest with ourselves about that, because then it means that we don't get to have the thing right now in the moment that we think is going to make us happy. And that's a hard thing to say no to, but you don't have to say no. You just have to identify it to move in another direction that will ultimately help you more. That was kind of the first thing. And the second thing that I want to tell you, but again, this is a reminder to myself that I want to like look back at this video whenever I'm again in a place of I cannot get out of my head, I can't move, I can't do anything, that I like look at this and I'm like, okay, I got out of this before, and not pretending that it won't come again, because it will. It just happens because I'm human, and that's what happens. But I want to look back and get perspective about like what I did and what I turned to on the days where I swear to you, when I woke up, I had the hardest time, like really the hardest time waking up. I kept thinking about all the reasons that I could go back to sleep, why I'm allowed to go back to sleep, why I should grant that to myself, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I just kept thinking like, there's a part of me that wants something else bigger than this, way more than the part of me that thinks it needs this small indulgent action right now. And I have been feeling that way literally since I noticed that I started to spiral, but I couldn't find, I think, the intrinsic motivation to change. And I still feel that way about a few aspects of my life, like how am I going to get started with my workouts again, and how am I going to get started with all of that. And that's super overwhelming to me. But a place that I always start, like a place that I can almost always convince myself to start at, and a place that I always know I feel better after, is getting the house, and I'm serious, getting my space clear, shift gears into an action gear, and then have something like a clean space that starts to give me perspective again, because I see it. Then I start to be able to piece things together more, to say, okay, I did this today, like I feel good about that, this is clear, this is done, what's next? Like it gets the ball rolling. So my next tip is to find small actions that get the ball rolling. And even cleaning is a huge task. Obviously, it's not nothing, but how can you then find little ways to make that a bit easier? Like turning on music. Like whenever I got into this cycle, it would take me like a month before I even realized it, before I did things to try to change it. And now it was 2 weeks. Maybe next time it's 1 week. It's not that it's always going to be that way, but I do have to say the more practice and awareness you gain with these kind of skills in terms of how you can shift gears to get you closer to where you ultimately want to go is really essential in how you're gonna feel day to day in general, you know? Sorry, that was like a huge tangent. I just got super passionate about it. I wanted to segue because I want to do other stuff today, not because I have to, but because I'm like, the more I can show myself that I can handle the small things again, the more likely I am to start to build it back up. Today was me saying, I'm gonna not do nothing today. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get ready because I know that those things always make me feel better. The thing that has propelled me from getting out of bed to getting ready to cleaning up the kitchen to putting the groceries away to doing all of that was knowing that I'm gonna make banana cake. That is what was so exciting to me, and I'm still like literally excited about it. So I would like to segue this video into making banana cake with you. I've never actually made a banana cake before. I've made banana bread, but sometimes, like really sometimes, if it's really good banana bread, I could vibe with it. But most of the time, especially when I make it, I'm like, no, I'm just not. It doesn't do it for me. But I nanny and I used to work with a Brazilian family, and this mother, she could cook so well. It was always so delicious, and she made a banana cake, and I didn't get her recipe, but I just remember like, oh, I don't like banana cake, but I had hers and it was so good. So I'm gonna just try to make banana cake today. Yay! Okay, so I'm telling you, whenever I moved over to the Netherlands, I had absolutely no idea how to make pretty much anything. I really benefited from learning like Basics 101 cooking and baking, and I realized like maybe a lot of people could relate to me that like also don't know that really brown bananas like this are perfect for banana cake. So I was actually thinking about making a video called something like Cooking 101, just like not the actual classic basics, but like the Shyla way, like the things that I pretty much always do, or that I like really learned how to do and that have gotten me really far in the kitchen. I think I'm doing okay for myself now. So I think even back whenever I posted my first YouTube video, I was way more clumsy. There's video proof of that. Since then, I've come a really far way. So if you think it would be helpful to you, no judgment here. Oh, I didn't take the seal off. No. Molly, I know you want me to go there. You're gonna show me that he's locked in the room, but we can't. I'm not going there because he keeps jumping on the counter, you know? I know, it's really sad. I'll let him out soon when I put this in the oven. Okay. Pretty good. Hi, sweet boy. You can't be on the counter. Oh, it looks so great. The texture looks so good. I'm just gonna actually demolish it so that it cools faster so that I can try it. It's really good. But it has to be banana bread, not banana cake. No way. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it down below. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch it. I truly do hope you enjoyed it. Also, don't forget to subscribe because it really supports my channel, and I hope to see you in my next one.